Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. If I could first ask you, reassuring that the world won't stop over the next 30 minutes, it is safe to turn off your mobile phones, and I would ask that you do that now. It is my great pleasure to introduce to you the President of the Irish Medical Organisation in our 25th year, Dr. John Morris. Thanks, Sean. Honoured guests, fellow members, ladies and gentlemen. I've been a member of the IMO since my intern induction night in Galway. I joined because I believe in supporting a body that represents my interests. I joined because I believe in democratic representation and that every voice is as important as next in a democratic society. If you do not have a voice, then you can never assume that others will represent your interests. For a number of years, that is where my involvement finished. I paid my membership, but did my moaning and complaining in the coffee shop, not here in Killarney. I didn't get further involved because I assumed that somebody in an office in Dublin would look after everything on my behalf. That changed when I returned from a period working abroad. My eyes were opened to a hospital system that managed to deliver high-quality training and maintain hours at a reasonable level. I was younger and idealistic and genuinely believed that the Irish system should and could be changed to reduce working hours and improve training and thereby patient outcomes. As a medical student, I had heard, and an intern, I had heard passing reference to the European Working Time Directive and how all doctors would soon have a 56-hour working week and the days of slavish rotas would soon be behind us. On returning home to start my GP training, I found myself staring down difficult jobs where I would regularly clock up over 100 hours a week. Nothing appeared to have changed, and I was under the impression that nothing was done to change it. I still did my complaining in the coffee shop, but I soon realised that that was never going to achieve anything. I blamed the IMO for not representing my interests, and one morning as I was pushing up some anti-IMO propaganda on the UCHD coffee shop wall, I got a tap on the shoulder from a distinguished-looking gentleman. He introduced himself as Asim Ishtiaq, a fellow PhD in Galway and IMO president. So I was embarrassed and slightly taken aback is an understatement. From there, Asim firstly challenged me to use my energy in a constructive way and to get involved with the NCHD committee. I promptly did. He secondly outlined to me the challenges that lay ahead for NCHDs and how much work had been done by the committee to try and achieve the exact goals I aspired to. It was time for me to put up or shut up. The goals were lofty and the process difficult, but I believed in what we were doing. To me, patients deserve better than being treated by exhausted and inexperienced young doctors at the front line. Doctors deserve better than to be subjected to torturous shifts from which you have barely recovered before you are required to repeat it again. I felt there was an acceptance of this as a work practice, that it was entrenched in the medical system. I feared that both doctors and employers alike were reluctant to change. I also realised that systems existed where every grade was not forced into a daily running battle for resources. With the focus taken off the individual's battle to stay afloat, the focus turned to collective responsibility to deliver effective and efficient service. Your employer was no longer your adversary, but your support in delivering as good a service as possible to the person around whom the service revolved, the patient. The patient benefited because the staff were well trained and motivated to work, a stark contrast to the exhaustion and inexperience to be found in medical front lines in many Irish hospitals. Over the past 2 years, I've heard countless soundbites and read countless reports about transformation and change. I have seen the government adopt and then ignore health policies which they know can reform healthcare in this country. They pick and choose elements of selected reports which they see as potential re-election manifestos and ignore the bread and butter fundamental changes that are required to deliver healthcare in this country that could match, if not improve, on the best health systems in the world. We have now entered a time of economic uncertainty which is quite unprecedented. It provides challenges that even 12 months ago would appear to have been the work of fiction. Yet we still do not have a workable health policy. We have a health system staffed with some of the best and brightest people. We have a dedicated frontline workforce who day in, day out give up themselves up to the point of exhaustion and collapse just to keep the service running. From consultants to GPs to public health doctors, but especially to NCHD, Our government owes a debt of gratitude for keeping a service running that would long since have crumbled but for the dedication of their patients. I appeal to the government to learn from history. Every crisis facing the health service over the past 20 years has stemmed from underinvestment. We never recovered from the swinging cutbacks of the 1980s, and to cut services further now will stall progress for decades to come. Failure to make the difficult political decisions over the past 10 years is the reason for lack of reform in the acute hospital services. The failure of the HSE to streamline and manage with any efficiency has led to a catastrophic waste of resources and taxpayers' money. Yet first in line for cutbacks is always the frontline services and the most vulnerable groups.